Everyone needs beauty as well as bread, places to play and pray, where nature heals and gives strength to body and soul alike.
From its headwaters high in the Cascade Range, the Rogue River winds its way to the Pacific Ocean through the rolling hills and beautiful valleys of southwest Oregon. A landscape that has continued to change and evolve with each passing year. The lands along the river were once home to the Shasta and Tequilma tribes. Today, a patchwork of pastures, farms, orchards, and homes has replaced much of the native habitat, and the result is a loss of our natural heritage that can never be reclaimed. There are, however, places along the river that remain relatively unchanged, where the land is much the same as it was thousands of years ago. One of those places, the 352-acre Rogue River Preserve, is just 15 miles north of Medford, along the midsection of the Rogue River.
This small building was used by the Rule family. Mr. Rule was the editor and publisher of the Mail Tribune, and years ago it was a weekend retreat, a chance to get away from the bustle of downtown Medford in the turn of the century.
So the Rule property is probably the closest we're ever going to get to understanding what Rogue River frontage property looked like before the arrival of Euro-Americans. It gives us a little glimpse of what people would have seen when they got to the Rogue Valley in the mid-19th century, and a better understanding of what Native Americans knew the Rogue Valley to be for centuries and eons before that.
My grandfather purchased this place and used it as a retreat, a weekend getaway.
Originally purchased in the 1940s by Robert Rule, a writer and then editor and publisher of the Medford Mail Tribune, the property has remained in the family for nearly a century. The importance of preserving this natural wonderland and the historic character of the property prompted Robert Rule's descendants, the MacArthur family, to contact the Southern Oregon Land Conservancy, an organization that works with farmers, ranchers, and property owners to ensure the natural wealth of the wild and working lands of the Rogue Valley endure forever.
And my grandmother would come out here with their kids and with family, friends. My grandfather didn't fish, but my grandmother did. As kids, we would come out here and go for picnics and walks, hunt for agates and look at birds and watch things happening along the river.
And things do happen here. Wonderful, magical things, all precious gifts of nature. When spring arrives, vernal pools teeming with life dot the landscape, creating an ephemeral ecosystem before the hot summer sun turns them to a sweet memory.
One of the nice things about the vernal pools is as they dry, they leave behind a succession of different wildflowers that bloom as they get drier and drier. So you get a kind of changing environment as they progress through the year. They're really like a living organism in themselves.
The land is indeed a living organism, changing with the seasons to support a myriad of ecosystems and provide a home to hundreds of species of birds and flowering plants, many identified as rare or declining.
One of the great things about the Rogue River Preserve is that it's a mosaic of habitats within a fairly small area. And each of those habitats has a different suite of species, different plants, different wildflowers, different insects, and different birds. The Rogue River Preserve is extraordinary, especially its riparian forest. You walk into that forest and it's like entering a shaded green cathedral.
Efforts to preserve this special place caught the attention of many in our community, who have come together for a variety of reasons to make the Rogue River Preserve a reality.
Our community is based on connections and having the right resources in place at the right time to take advantage of the opportunities. The Rogue Valley has always been a place where people can seize opportunities and develop them. The Southern Oregon Land Conservancy basically was an idea of how do we protect treasured land in our community and actually be very respectful of the families and the property owners, because when you want to save something forever, you have to think about, well, how are we going to take care of it forever?
Once the property is acquired, plans will be put in place to restore the natural habitat for scientific research and educational outreach, which will allow the community to experience the wonder of this unique environment as nature intended.
Well, the value of this place for all the children is immeasurable. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to have field trips out here with kids led by naturalists, looking under rocks to see what's growing there and looking in the trees to see what's flying there?
I think in this particular project, it's great that the lodge is there. It would be really hard to replicate anything like that on this property. And it gives the entire project the ability to house small groups of people, to house small events, and supports all of the other efforts that are going to go on here to interpret and understand this facility, because there's a place there where people can meet around a table, talk about what they're seeing and what they've found. The fact that it's a historic building, that it fits perfectly on the site, that it's been there since 1920, is just an added benefit.
Conserving the Heart of the Rogue is one of the Southern Oregon Land Conservancy's legacy projects, a project that will have lasting benefits to the community and that will take the support of the community to become reality.
It's going to require lots of different people doing their share. Volunteering, researching the project, the historical value of the property. Our federal partners, our state partners are going to come to the table, and I'm more than willing to play my part towards making it a reality.
I think that we make choices every day that make a difference in the world around us. And by choosing to preserve things like the Rogue River Preserve, we are making a gift not only for fish and wildlife and ourselves, but we're also preserving some of the way the valley always was.
We have an opportunity here of showing the beauty of Southern Oregon as it existed hundreds of years ago. Nothing much has changed here. The only change is what's potentially to happen. And here we are, and here you are, with the ability to help us get this done.
Join us. Help protect this special place for generations yet to come.